Please welcome Will Shields.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I know you guys are ready to get out of here and get some sleep. I got about an hour worth of talking to do. So, sit back, relax. We got a little time to spend. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a very guy that doesn't really have a lot of words to say, but first of all, I'd like to thank the Shriners for actually putting this together. In 93, had the opportunity to come and be a part of this game. And what was interesting is you had an opportunity to play for specific games at specific times. And I was fortunate to know that I was going to be, slotted as a third-round pick. Even if a guy that's won the Outland and everything else wanted to think that he was a first-round pick, he was going to be slotted in the third round. Sort of put a chip on my shoulder, put a little anger in my heart, which was a great thing because it motivated me to try to do something better, to be better, to every day to work a little harder. And that's what sort of made you sort of push forward as you started to go in life. The little bumps in the road, the little things that you think you should get, sort of gives you that little extra push and that little extra growth. But first and foremost, I'd like to say, to the coaching staffs, great job of working this week. All these young men are getting the opportunity to get a little taste of what it's like to be in the NFL locker room every day, to get the opportunity to learn all the new calls, the nuances of the game, and also giving us an opportunity as legends to come in and work with them, to sort of give them a piece of the information that we didn't have, or to try to get them so they can understand that, hey, you can reach out to us to help you as we grow. This game has been a great partnership for us as far as the NFL Legends community as well as with the teams, because they get an opportunity to get a little taste of what it's like to be in the trenches and to be a part of it. So I want to say thank you for that, and thanks for the coaches for letting me be a part of it. I'm not a coach by trade, but I think in my mind I'd love to do it here and there, just enough to get my hands dirty, but then I want to take myself home because they do it on a regular basis. So my opportunity that came here in 93 was very interesting because out of all the different places that I went, this was the only place that I actually got an interview by a pro team. Beyond that, you went through all the testing, talked to all the psychiatrists, did all the other things. But at that time, the whole team would come. They'd have all the coaching staff would be here at once. And we had this little room that had a light, just like the one that's on me now, that's sitting on you in the corner. And they sort of put you in a pressure chamber of like, okay, what would you do on this play? What kind of guy are you? Are you able to do some different things? And so it was really interesting because the only team that was here that actually gave me that opportunity was the Kansas City Chiefs. They set me in a room and they asked me about different things, and then they go, so we got an opportunity, down the road that we're looking at a guard. Our guard just got hurt, tore his pec. Free agency was the first year that I actually got in the league that free agency actually exists. We're probably going to sign a guy. But what would you do if you had an opportunity to come in and be a part of our organization? So I sat there and I looked at it and I was thinking about it. I said, I could be that guy that says, coach, I'll do whatever I have to do to get on the field, to do with everything else. And then I said, well, maybe one time I'll take that step and say, coach, I understand what you're doing. You're saying you're going to bring in a guy that you're going to pay some good money to be in the position of where that guard spot is. I said, but if you gave me an opportunity, I'd let you understand that not one time in my life have I ever played behind anybody for more than X amount of time before I decided that I was actually going to take their job in a sense, and become a starter. And my brother told me this a long time ago. He said, anytime somebody calls, who's the next man up, you become that next man up. Regardless if it's offense, defense, special teams, if I got to show you a rep or do something on the other side, be that next man up. Be the one that's going to jump up and try it, do it, learn it, because the more reps you get, the more you're seeing, the more seeing that you can do, the more they can utilize you at the next level. And so at that point, he looked at me and said, what do you mean? I said, well, coach, maybe the first 6 months or maybe the first year before I learn what you want me to do and how you want to do it, I might be a backup. I said, but I've never played behind anybody for longer than that point. So I would become a starter. And at that point, he sort of walked away and said, okay, well, we appreciate you coming in, talking to me and everything else. So at that point, we went to another bowl game, and then I became a secretary for another guy that was actually my roommate. He was going to be a first-round pick. So he had coaches calling. So I'd answer the phone. And I go, hello, how you doing? He's like, is such and such here? And I go, who you looking for? I'm looking for such and such. And I'm sorry, he's downstairs with, and of course, if it was a guy from Atlanta, I would tell him, he's downstairs with Tampa Bay. Or I tell him, he's downstairs with such and such. And they were like, well, who are you? And I said, oh, well, I'm Will Shields, I'm his roommate. And they were like, oh, okay, well, tell him I called. And I was like, okay, cool. So sort of add a little fuel to the fire, but it was one of those things where you understand that every day you go out, you have to get better. And you have to understand where your goal is and where you want to be. You have to do the little things that no one expects you to do. Maybe it's an extra workout. Maybe it's foot patterns. Maybe it's something, extra catches. Do the little things that no one actually expects you to do so that you can be the best person you want to be on and off. If you go off the field, make sure you do the little things to help other people out, because regardless of where you come from, where you grew up, whatever you've done in life, there's always somebody else that wants to follow your footsteps because you are, in their mind, a legend. Everybody's talking about what you did in high school because you made it to college. Everybody's talking about what you did in college because you're sitting in these seats today. So there's always going to be somebody behind you looking for what you've done, how you've done it, and how can I be in your position, and how can I be in your place. With that, that's something that makes you special and unique within yourself, because there's always someone else that wants to be just like you or replace you. So it was really an honor to be here. I appreciate it, and I'm really honored to be in the Hall of Fame here. And I want to tell you one little thing before I leave. So I had a coach that actually brought me in, and he gave me just a little bit of knowledge. He goes, the day I found out you can play, I'm looking for 5 more like you to replace you. So remember that in the back of your mind, that there's always something else there to replace you. It's the most unique business. You can love it to death, and it can do great things for you, but don't let it tear you down. Every day, get better. Every day, work on something just because you can, not because you have to, because you have the opportunity to. Thanks again. I appreciate it, and have a good night.